Let's go over to Mercy Babajide, our correspondent who is in Ede North. Mercy, can you go ahead and tell us what's happening? I think earlier you mentioned that there was like a fight outbreak where you were, and I think you've moved safely somewhere else. If you can give us an account of what happened, please.
Okay, where we were at the governor's polling unit, and there were lots of crowds, of course, because of the BVAS issues. In the process of me recording, there was a guy that kept on agitating, and I told him to identify himself because I was confident about the fact that he was not an INEC official, so I was wondering why he was given the BVAS to handle. And then, in the process of me asking him to identify himself, he told me to identify myself. I brought out my ID card, and then fight broke out. It was just unnecessary, and of course I'm a female. They thought I wouldn't be able to stand my ground, but then my camera guy and the digital guy with me had to come in, but then for security reasons we had to leave because I think they were watching us live and they deployed lots of army and security officials there. But then we are still somewhere in Ede, in front of the Timi Agbale Palace, where there is another polling unit, and before we got here we heard that the BVAS had issues. It's quite crowdy here also. We had lots of crowd here. There's large voter turnout, and it would interest you to know that there's equally two different polling units just side by side, but then it looks like one has a longer queue than the other one. So this one with the longer queue, we were able to get someone from there, Mrs. Bilikisu, who I will be panning to. Ekaroma.
Adeyemo Bilikis Bolanle.
Okay, báwo ni ètò ìdìbò ṣe lọ níbí?
Ètò ìdìbò ó lọ ní rọwọ́rọsẹ̀, àmọ́ BVAS kíní tí wọ́n gbé wá pé ká fi dìbò ó fún wa ní problem. A ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ń rí bòdì ni, ó ṣe píìkì díẹ̀ ni, ó dà wá láàmú gan. Anytime tá bá ti fẹ́ dìbò, BVAS tán máa ń gbé wá síwájú ààfin yìí, ó máa ń fún wa ní problem.
Àti aago mélòó lẹ ti débí?
Àti 7 làwa ti débí báyìí káwọn IPO tó dé, àwọn INEC officer àti wàmbí tá a ti tò kó tó di pé wọ́n dé. So gbà tí wọ́n dé náà, a yẹ gbogbo nǹkan wọn wò la bẹ̀rẹ̀ iṣẹ́.
Ó tó aago mélòó kẹ́ tó dìbò?
Ó tó bí 9 ká tó lè rí bòdì, aago 9 ká tó rí bòdì, ká tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ bòdì. Bá tún ti di bí 4 ni dífà yẹn tún bẹ̀rẹ̀ problem kan tó wá pe ẹni tí ó jẹ́ ọ̀gá wọn ló wá yẹ dífà yẹn wò, ló wá tún ṣàlàyé fún wọn, ló ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ń píìkì díẹ̀díẹ̀ bọ̀ ó slow, o kò lè jẹ́ kí bò wa ó tètè parí. Ẹ̀wò bẹ́rẹ̀ ò ṣe pọ̀ tó lórí láyìn tí wọ́n ti dìbò, àwa díẹ̀ láti rí bòdì. So bó ṣe jẹ́ nìyẹn, k'Ọlọ́run fún wa ní kó fàánú gbà wá kó rí bá a ṣe fẹ́, ẹ̀ń tá à ń fẹ́ k'Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kó wọlé.
Okay, I'll be translating what she said. She said she got here around 7 a.m. and she couldn't vote until about 9 a.m. and that's because the BVAS is quite slow. She said it was really, really slow, and I'm going to pan over to someone else and ask them questions as to when they got here. Ekaroma. Yes, aago mélòó lẹ ti débí láàárọ̀?
Aago mẹ́jọ.
Aago mẹ́jọ. Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ tí ìlà yẹn fi gùn tẹ́lẹ̀?
Engine ni ò ṣiṣẹ́.
Engine ò ṣiṣẹ́. Okay. I'll be translating what she said. She said she's been here since 7 a.m. and she's on this queue, or she's been on this queue for this long because the BVAS equally is not working. But then I think we'd have to ask the INEC people questions. I don't know if they will be willing to take questions right now, but we can see the ballot box and we can see that there are quite a number of people that have voted. But then, like Mrs. Bilikisu said, she said 1 minute it's working, the next minute it's not working. Ekaro. Kí lorúkọ yín?
Murtala Blavis.
Aago mélòó lẹ ti débí láàárọ̀?
Láti kẹ́ bí 7 láti wà níbí o.
Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ tẹ́ tí lè dìbò látago 7 a.m. tẹ́tí wà níbí?
O nẹ́tíwọ̀kì ni máa ń dárúkọ, ó ti sọ àgànṣe gan, àtàwọn àti wà níbí, ó ti sún wa, wàláì. Ifu gan bẹ́ẹ̀ ti jẹ́ ǹjẹ́ àrùn bẹ́ẹ̀ sì wà. O tẹ́ bá rí báyìí, pété tó mo mú dání, látàrí pé kò bá lè fún mi ní lájì tó péye, wàláì ó ti sú mi. Nah.
All right, I'll be translating what he said. He said he's been here since 7 a.m. and he's not been able to vote because, of course, the BVAS machine is down. And he said he had to take some drink before because he's not had breakfast for him to be able to, of course, stand this long on the line. And let's take into cognizance that it's already 2 minutes past 11 a.m. If they've been here since 7 o'clock in the morning and the BVAS are not working, one would wonder what exactly is happening. So we will be taking it over from here, and we'll still stay here for about a few more minutes before we head over to the next polling unit. Over to you in the studio.
to you, Mercy. I want to know about the details from what happened earlier when we heard that little commotion from the governor's. I think that was that was at the governor's office, the polling ward there in Ede. Please, can you give us more detail? When the security agencies came to you guys, did they identify anything untoward happening? And why did you people have to leave? Did they ask you to leave, or did you just use discretion there? But more importantly, what action did they take regarding the person whose identity you were trying to confirm?
Not the security operatives, but people that were on ground there. Okay. Of course, we couldn't identify them. It was us versus them. And then talking about the crowd of them against us, it was a larger number. So for security reasons, we had to take the initiative to leave, even though they kept on insisting. Some persons equally said, oh, we've been there for over 5 hours. Why have we been there for over 5 hours? And we kept asking the same question. Do we not have the right to stay anywhere we want to stay for that long? And they couldn't answer that question, of course. But then you know how it is when it comes to elections for security reasons, or for for our security reasons, because of course the crowd was more than us, even though we stood our ground for over 45 minutes and there were lots of back and forth, but we equally had to leave.
Okay. Mercy, on a lighter note, who's your camera guy and how big is he? I hope he's able to give you some protection, because yeah, you might be needing it today. But thank you very much for standing your ground and also using your initiative. Thank you, Mercy.